Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Several months ago, I found myself back at Dollar Tree looking around to see what I could find to build an MRE. There were a lot of things that kind of came into play with this. One being, you guys seem to like when I go to Dollar Tree and do these videos. Another thing was that I decided maybe I should put something in there that I've been avoiding because it's not one of my favorite things, but you guys are always asking for it. But as I started wandering around the store, I started to realize that I was really coming up short. I ended up with everything I needed for the most part to build an MRE, but it was kind of lame. And then as I continued to wander around the store, I realized while the items that I picked out for this MRE are not the best in the world, they kind of add up to something unexpected. So as I continued to spin around the store, I decided that I was going to try to pull things that would stay within a certain theme, but I still wasn't too impressed with what I ended up with. So this MRE sat on a shelf for months. It's probably been 9 months since I bought the stuff to go in this, maybe even longer, because I just kept walking past it and thinking it's just not going to work. And then I thought maybe there's some magic here that might just get this thing off the ground. So I decided let's go ahead and go for it and see how this goes. Admittedly, some of the things in this MRE on their face are really just not impressive, but let's see where this goes. So without further ado, let me introduce you to the Dad Budget Adventures Homemade MRE Menu DT Plus. And in a few minutes, you're going to see what that plus means. All right, so let's get in here and see what is in this homemade MRE from Dollar Tree. First off is the item that I have been avoiding because I really don't care for this stuff. But so many of y'all keep asking for it. I decided that I was going to pick up some Spam singles. Now this is the Spam single light. It's lower in sodium. I don't know what that means given how much sodium is in Spam, and it's kind of its thing. But anyway, I figured we'll go with that. And in fact, instead of just getting one of these, I got two, because honestly, one of these is probably just gonna be enough to make me mad. But then again, if I've got to choke something down that I don't like, it's probably best not to have a lot of it. And this is where it starts to get lame. To go with that, I picked up a pack of minute rice. Now I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys, I have lost the footage of me shopping for this stuff. Because this has been sitting for so long, somewhere along the way, I wiped it off of my phone. That's usually what I use when I'm in the location filming, so that I'm not walking in just, tooling around with my camera. So I always shoot it on my phone. I don't know where it went. I think during the process of cleaning out some stuff, it just got bumped. I might have thought it was from another video that I'd already done because it had been sitting there for so long. But anyway, so we got some white rice to go with our Spam. On the side of that, so we can have something green, I found these packets of Perishore mixed vegetables. This is like corn and carrots and peas and potatoes or something. Anyway, it's kind of like a succotash. It's, a pretty good blend of veggies and stuff. So we'll get our vitamins and minerals from our vegetables. Yay. As a dessert, I picked up this pack of pineapple tidbits. It's just pineapples in juice. It's probably syrup more than juice, but once again, I've lost track of the package for this one. I don't even know where that one went. But I'm a big fan of pineapples, and just eating them straight out of the cup like that would be fine with me. For our beverage, I picked up this pack of Dole Pineapple Strawberry Drink Mix. It's just your typical artificially sweetened flavored drink mix, but I wanted to get it with kind of that tropically flair to kind of go with the pineapples and stuff. So I picked out that one to go with this meal. Now, as I started looking at these items and thinking about them, I realized that the magic that I could find in here needed a few extra things. So I threw in some extras just to kind of bring it to life, because if you're just doing Spam and white rice and things like that, it's not really gonna have a whole lot of kick to it. So I threw in some extra stuff, and I'll show you that in just a minute. Now you notice that I didn't crank up the trucker's lunchbox or anything like that, because everything that's in here can kind of be just eaten like it is. I don't have to warm this stuff up. I can just eat it straight out of the packaging and be fine. But that's not what we're doing today. Nope. We got a little extra little surprise. Part of it is that because I'm not a big fan of Spam, there are some things that are kind of needed with that in order to make it something that I will eat. And one of those things is that I like to brown it up a little bit. So we're gonna do that. I'm gonna crank up my mess kit here in a minute, and we're gonna cut up that Spam and maybe kick it up just a notch to get it to where it's something I can tolerate for dinner. But first things first, let's mix up our drink, because if I'm gonna have to eat Spam, I'm gonna need something to wash it down. Let's get that mixed up in our best redneck china. I think I'm starting to get down to the bottom of my supply of my bamboo sporks. So I might have to order a new pack of those before too much longer. By the way, if you've got questions about things like the bamboo spork and any of the other stuff that I use in this video, I usually have a link down in the description box that shows you the exact item I use, including things like these Mylar bags and whatever cook system we end up using. Let's stir that up, and then we're gonna set this to the side and let it sit. All right, so let's prepare this Spam so that it's something that is tolerable for me. In order to do that, we're gonna need my mess kit. Now, one of the great things about the design of this American GI mess kit is that frying pan style design. A lot of military mess kits are like a giant cup, like a pot. And that's not always good for doing things like, browning up some Spam. So this is a great design here. The first thing we're gonna need to do though is we need to get our Spam cut up so that we can brown it up. All right, let's get this out here and see what we're working with. I know what we're working with. We're working with Spam. I'm just going to open up both of these. There's no sense in not preparing both. At least it's easy to cut. So if me doing this has your mouth watering, please leave a comment down below. I'd like to know who my Spam fans are out there. Now, one thing I want to do before I start cooking this, I'm going to get this in here. Just going to spread it out between the two sides here. And one of the things that I do kind of require if I'm going to eat Spam is a certain flavor palette. So we're going to go a little Polynesian with that. I'm going to take the juice from these pineapple bits, kind of pour it over there, and just kind of let the Spam sit in that pineapple juice. And now I'm going to add something else. Another little extra that I brought to kick this up is some of those little Chinese restaurant takeout packs of soy sauce. Get that in here and just kind of add to that flavor. Now remember, we're doing this because we can, not because we have to. Everything in this kit, you can just eat it by itself and not do any of this. But if I have the opportunity and the place to do it, I'm not going to just eat Spam straight out of the pack. And let's get our cook system set up. For this one, we're going to use this Coughlin Camp stove, Coughlin Camp heat. This should also kind of help us keep the heat under control, make it a little easier to do this without burning everything. So the other thing that I packed in here was a little pouch of vegetable oil. Just because I knew going into this that this was how I wanted to do this. Let's get some of that out. Still got a little bit left in there, but we'll see how this goes. Because we're using this mess kit, we need to let that heat distribute as evenly as we can. Otherwise, we're going to end up with some hot spots. Let that skillet season just a little bit. Now let's get our Spam out into the frying pan. While that's warming up, let's try our tasty beverage and see how that's going to be. It smells like a kid's drink, so I'm kind of expecting it to taste the same. It's not too bad. I can tell it's artificially sweetened. It's got a little bit of a bitterness to it. It's got that aftertaste, but I mean, it's going to get the job done, especially once we start eating this salty food. Now, this is one of those things too that if you have the Spam that's already got all kinds of seasoning in it, you know, they make like a Korean barbecue flavored now and a few other things. If you've got that, you don't have to worry about soaking it in soy sauce and pineapple juice and things like that because it's already going to have that extra little bit of flavor to it. But if you're just working with the singles, especially if you're picking them up at Dollar Tree, then you got to kind of work with what you've got. Now, using fuel like this, it is going to take a little while to get this browned up. It's also going to be less likely to get burned to the bottom of your mess kit. You see, I've got a little bit of sticking here, but that's not too bad. The food itself is not sticking to the pan. I think that's what we're looking for right there. All right, so I think that is going to make the Spam a lot more tolerable for me. Got a good char on it. It's not burned. It's just browned up enough to give it some texture and a little bit of flavor beyond that kind of weird mystery meat taste that I've always associated with Spam. So let's give this a try and see if that's going to be tolerable. Bon appetit. It certainly makes it better. It doesn't make it great, but it makes it better. But here's the thing. I feel like even this sauteed Spam with white rice and stuff is just, it's going to be bland. So what can we do to make this MRE better? Let's start like this. And then we might as well take this, add that in there while we're at it. Stir it all in there. Y'all see where we're going, right? I added just a splash of water into that so that we can let everything kind of get to know each other before we start the process of frying this rice. Now, to really bring this home, I also packed another little sachet. This little pack contains a mix of sesame oil, chili oil, salt, pepper, and garlic. This is what's going to give us the flavors that we really, really want in this. Let's get this back on the cooker. Now, you probably noticed that there's something missing. We're not going to add this till last because I don't want them getting all mushed up in the process. Those peas don't have a lot of body to them. So we're going to add this right before we're finished. All right, I added in our veggies into the mix and neglected to hit the record button before I did that. But you can see those are in there. We're starting to look like we've got fried rice. So I need to put out this fire. I'm going to cover the mess kit for a moment. Let everything come up to temperature without burning, and then we will see how this turned out. And while that's happening in the background, this is as good a time as any to remind you, if you're enjoying this content, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, hit that notification bell to be made aware of all upcoming videos, and please, 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 feed the algorithm. Leave a comment down below and tell me what you think of this monstrosity, if it looks like something you would try, or if you're one of those people that hates pineapple, you can tell me about that too. That's cool. It's, you know, everybody's got their thing. But this smells amazing and I'm dying to dig into it. But before we taste it, if you guys remember in the last video, I told you all about a new project that I'm working on with my wife, DL. We are getting ready to crank up another Dad Budget Adventures channel where we're going to have a travel vlog documenting our adventures together. I haven't released the name of it or anything like that yet because I want to be sure that once people start finding the channel that there's something for them to watch. And we've got a couple of travel videos shot. I'm working right now on getting them edited so that we can get them uploaded. But I think that the first video we need to release needs to be kind of a get to know us kind of video. We're going to do a Q&A. So if you guys have questions that you're dying to ask me and DL or just one of us, please drop it down in the comment section down below. And when we record that video, we'll pick from that list and we'll answer as many of those questions as we can. Now, please keep in mind, keep your questions respectable. Look, those of you that have been here for a while, you understand we try to keep this channel as family friendly as we can. We do get a little cheeky when she and I are together on camera, but let's remember that we're all friends here and let's try to be as nice as possible with our questions. But we would be glad to answer just about anything you guys can ask. So we'll try to shoot that soon. And hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we'll get that channel off the ground and we're going to see how it takes off. All right, it is time to try this out. We have thrown the entirety of the MRE into that mess kit, except for our drink. And no, I'm not putting that in there. But let's see what we ended up with. Here we go. Here's the big reveal. Look at that. That really does look delicious. And it smells so good too. One of the things about cooking food like this is you have to find the right seasoning. And it took me a long time to realize that sesame oil is absolutely necessary when you're cooking food like this. It's where a lot of that palate comes from. Once I figured that out, I got to where I could make this stuff and the family would just gobble it up. All right, let's get us a big old spoonful. Let's get a little bit of everything. And let's just see how my Hawaiian style Spam fried rice MRE from Dollar Tree turned out. Let's get a big old bite. Here we go. People. All right, we're going in for another. Look, Spam is one of those things that I can take it or leave it. But given the opportunity to cook this particular dish is the one way to get me to eat it. Never been a fan of the flavor of the Spam itself, but once you sear it up a little bit, get it caramelized, maybe add a little bit of extra seasoning to it and some other stuff, it is absolutely worthwhile. Given that everything in here total costs less than $5, that's a pretty satisfactory dinner. Whether you're at camp, whether you're in a blackout, or whether it's just Friday and you want to cook something different, give that a try. Even if you're not a fan of Spam, if you have not tried making it like this, give it a shot. If you like the other stuff that's in here, if you like fried rice, if you like pineapple and stuff, give it a try and then report back. Tell me what you think. The wife came home with some Chick-fil-A for her and my youngest daughter tonight because I told her that I was going to be shooting a video for dinner. And when she walked in and saw what I was making, she told me she feels ripped off. Sorry, Chick-fil-A, but you got beat out by Dollar Tree Spam fried rice. Cheers. Look, I'm not saying this dish will change your life, but I am saying it might change your attitude about America's favorite mystery meat. Just saying. But that's going to be it for this video. And until the next one, prepare for the world that you live in, not the one you wish existed. We'll see you around. Some more of this.